Hello and welcome to Streetwise Live. Today we are talking to precious metals expert Matt Badiali about a company well known for gold that he feels has some big opportunities in green energy. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in today. Seabridge Gold has massive gold reserves in their flagship KSM project, but the company has amassed a huge quantity of copper as well. Now, copper is used in renewable energy systems to generate power from solar, hydro, thermal, and wind. Electric cars use 5 times more copper than gas-powered vehicles. Metals expert Matt Badiali and Seabridge CEO Rudy Frank join us now to talk about what this means for the future of the company and what this could mean for investors. Okay, Matt, I want to start with you. Tell us why you think Seabridge is in a good position to capitalize on its copper reserves.
Well, thanks for having me, Cindy. I mean, you have to understand how massive these copper reserves are. They're so big that mining them and selling them will pay for all of the mining costs, and you get all the gold that they're going to produce for free.
Okay, that's promising. Now, Rudy, how did a gold company amass such a huge amount of copper?
Well, to be perfectly honest, Cindy, we got pretty lucky. I mean, we formed the company in 1999 with a focus on gold. Our goal was to try and grow ounces in the ground faster than shares outstanding, which we were successful on. But fortunately at KSM, as we were exploring for gold, we found a lot of copper. In fact, at KSM today, we have over 50 billion pounds of copper in all resource categories. So if you look at Seabridge in terms of ounces of gold per common share, we're the best in the industry. And it's interesting to note that in terms of pounds of copper per share, either as reserves or resources, we provide far more copper ownership per share than even the biggest and most well-known copper companies.
Was this a happy accident, Rudy? Or
It was. It's interesting. We first focused our exploration at Courageous Lake and found a lot of metal there. And then we moved to KSM and we knew we were in a porphyry environment, but we were in a gold-rich porphyry environment. And as exploration continued, the grades continued to get better on copper, namely at Deep Ker and Lower Iron Cap.
All right. Now, Matt, over the past decade, environmental and social concerns have derailed multiple mining projects. So how does Seabridge navigate those issues in particular?
Well, one of the things I like about Seabridge is they started that from the very beginning. They started with the engagement of the First Nations in the region. That's an important part of the social aspect. They also began their environmental groundwork right away. So they have their environmental permits in hand, which is a mistake a lot of mining companies make. They don't do that first, and then they get into trouble when they're trying to get their permits. And then finally, when you build a giant mine like this, it requires a lot of electricity. And at KSM, what they have is the ability to use hydroelectric power instead of diesel generators, which is renewable power. So they check a lot of boxes for me in that respect.
Now, Rudy, how important is copper in KSM's economics, and how prepared is the mining industry to meet demand in the world of green energy initiatives?
Well, in terms of how important copper is, as Matt said earlier, I mean, if you look at KSM today and use today's metal prices, the revenues would be split pretty evenly between gold and copper. So for a gold company mining KSM, taking copper as a byproduct credit, the copper more than offsets all the operating costs, so the cash operating costs are negative. Conversely, for a copper company that take gold as a byproduct credit, there's enough gold being produced there to offset all the operating costs as well. So on a copper basis, the cost would be negative as well. There's no doubt in my mind and a lot of experts that our industry needs to start producing a lot more copper. The elephant in the room right now is that copper is already in short supply and in a deficit situation. Even with all the new planned mines that are coming into production and planned expansions, it's estimated that by the year 2030, the deficit in the copper market will approach 30 million metric tons of copper cumulative. And in 2030 alone, the annual deficit will be about 6 million tons deficit. So in that type of environment, the price of copper is going to go significantly higher unless new mines are built. And the challenge that a lot of companies will face is that permitting projects today is a very challenging thing to do. And new mines are not getting built as quickly as they should to satisfy the demand that's about to unfold from the green energy initiatives.
Now, we brought up a really pretty picture earlier, and I want to bring it up again, Rudy, and I want you to tell us what we're looking at because it's pretty. But can you what it is?
Well, I think this picture actually does the project a lot of justice. This is ore right in the heart of the Mitchell deposit. We don't have any overburden to mine first. You're right in ore right from the beginning. And you see that green staining coming down. That's actually just copper that's oxidizing naturally on the top of a porphyry deposit. And to give it scale, I mean, look at that helicopter compared to the size of the wall there. Kind of gives you an idea of scale. I mean, it's hard to comprehend how big KSM is. I mean, in terms of total economic resources, we now have 9.8 billion tons, which contain 142 million ounces of gold and over 50 billion pounds of copper.
Thank you for pointing out the helicopter because it was so small I didn't even see it. But now I can see the enormity of that. Now, Matt, let's talk about investors and what they should be watching for as they navigate this green energy space. Now, Seabridge stock, it's ranging from about 1950 to 60. 4 analysts have a median target of 46.60, a high estimate of 105, a low of 23.98. We've got several Wall Street analysts calling it a buy or a strong buy. So how much stock should investors put in these analysts' predictions and what they're saying?
Yeah, I mean, this is a world-class deposit, right? So when you look at KSM, it's in the top 10 for gold reserves globally. This is a giant, giant project. Between KSM and Courageous Lake, the two big projects that Seabridge holds, they have 45 million ounces of gold and 17.6 billion pounds of copper. So this is real. They know it's there. It's all in reserve, so they don't need to drill it off to make sure it's there. It's there. And you have gold in a bull market, and you have copper in a major bull market. So that you have tailwinds on your investment. And you have a lot of metal in the ground that we know is there. So I put a lot of faith in what these analysts have done. I think that they're probably right on.
All right, Matt Badiali and Seabridge CEO Rudy Frank. Gentlemen, thank you both very much for joining us today.
Thanks
for having me, Cindy.
And of course, you can search SeabridgeGold.com for more information. And for everybody that tuned in, thank you as well. Have a great day, everyone.